Gregg Giannotti scoffs at idea Kylie Kelce's podcast Dethroned, the Joe Rogan Experience. Gregg Giannotti thinks it is a lie. The WFAN host isn't convinced that Kylie Kelce's Not Gonna Lie podcast dethroned the Joe Rogan Experience as the top podcast on Spotify and Apple after one episode during Tuesday's installment of WFAN's Boomer and Geo. Giannotti said it was ridiculous and scoffed at the recent news of Kelce's big debut as a solo podcaster on December 5. I honestly wasn't even gonna bring it up, 'cause I thought it was so ridiculous that Spotify would actually say that. I mean, there's just no way, Giannotti said to former NFL quarterback and co-host Boomer Esiason. If you look at any of the Joe Rogan YouTube numbers and compare that to whatever the Kelces are doing, come on, Kylie Kelce has a more listened to podcast than Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan essentially influenced the 2024 presidential election in some way I didn't even know Kylie had a podcast. Esiason chimed in with some of the guests Rogan had on his podcast leading up last month's presidential election. You could actually say that the Joe Rogan and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Elon Musk, and Donald Trump interviews on Rogan's podcast are the things that changed the election in the minds of many independent voters, he said. Giannotti then doubled down on his questioning of Kelce's podcast numbers. The producer said Kelce's first podcast episode got 611,000 views and compared it to Rogan, who the producer said brought in 35 million views in the first few hours of his early episodes. That Kelce's first podcast episode has 653,000 views on YouTube as of Wednesday.